The current engine failure issues impacting the third generation Toyota Tundra certainly have fans of the Toyota brand wondering what's going on. Can the brand's reputation for reliability survive the many recalls impacting the engine? Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. Had some interaction with some fans on the channel and in the chats. And I thought, it'd be interesting to go back in time and look at the prior generation Tundra and see what we thought about it back then, right? Because I always talk about this, how the past, we look in the past in rose-colored glasses. And so I happened to do some Googling, and wow, I happened to pull something up that I thought was pretty interesting. We're gonna go back in the time machine, roll it back. Look at this. This is tundraheadquarters.com. And yes, that is yours truly name on the byline. This I wrote this going on more than 10 years ago. So this is August 19th, 2016, basically just a few months ago. This is now going on its 10th year. And this is where I got my start. This is where I cut my teeth in the business, as they say. And I wrote the headline was Have Truck Quality Expectations Changed Unfairly? And there's some themes in this article that applied back then and also apply today. Yeah, this is kind of crazy stuff. So I want to explain to you the story because there's a gentleman that got so pissed off about how poorly built his Tundra was and how bad in quality it was. He created his own website and actually got the chance to talk to him with the chief engineer at the time, Mike Swears, at a dinner once about his complaints. So I know people are really upset today with the 2023, 2024, and some 2025 models failing. But this is going back to 2016, and people were really upset with Tundras back then. So yeah, I kind of put that in a little bit of perspective there. So I start the article off talking about the evolution of the past decade, how things qualities changed, talking about how 100,000 miles used to be the benchmark of getting trucks or cars. When I grew up, 100,000 miles was a big deal, and now no, expectations are way past that. So we have I think it was a Dodge back then, 2016. Maybe they just became Ram from that split. Lemon POS junk. It's got spray painted on the truck. This guy didn't like his thing. But yeah, so looking at this story, so there's a customer. It's like this guy says no QDR Tundra. This guy actually went out and bought a website, and he created the whole website about it. And he had gotten into me. He was really just a really upset customer, and he was leaving messages for me. And I was like, dude, I'm just reporting the news, and I'm just a messenger. And unfortunately, his website's no longer alive, which it was a good website. It was fun to read. And the QDR part is quality, reliability, durability. It's what Toyota has said time and time again in their truck teams. And so his thing was like, no QDR. And he made a whole list. And was quite impressive. Bug shield, mounting brackets worth through the paint, oil leaking on the exhaust, heat shield, the cam tower leak was well known. I actually have a whole list of known problems with the 5.7. We'll go over that as well. Paint problems, front end growl, the pickup bed rust, rear axle seal leak, tailgate rust, AC doesn't work. AC does work sometimes. Heater box problems. I'm surprised he didn't talk about fuel economy because that wasn't a known issue, but it was known that truck did not have good fuel economy and ride quality. That the triple tech frame, I think they call it, whatever their marketing term for that was, ride quality. I actually owned a 2013 Tundra, and ride quality was something. Just had to throw stuff in the back and weigh that bed down. And so if you look over the list, a lot of these were TSP repairs, repaired for free. And he actually listed TSPs. But his frustration was, why do I need all these TSPs? Why is this truck not perfect from factory? That was his complaint. Sound familiar? It still goes on today, 9 years later. And so if you remove all the items that covered under warranty and there were no costs to the owner, you really come down to two: paint problems, dull spots, and dark blotches. The heater box evaporator broke. So they come down to about $1,250. And the paint issue was a warranty issue. The owner declined to have the dealer fix. Heater box is a true issue. It's $1,000 to fix that. Now think about it, $1,000 to fix the evaporator box back in 2016. Can't imagine what that costs today. So I spoke to Swears about the list at a dinner a while back. His response was one of surprise. He was surprised his truck had that many issues. And going through the list, he verbally commented with either TSB or not Toyota. So he basically looked at the list, was like, that's a TSB or that wasn't us. Because he's looking at it from a supplier standpoint. He's like, that's not us, that's not us, that's not us, that's TSB, not us, not us. And so he said most of the items should have been covered under warranty. And then I pointed out something, and I've said this different videos. I don't think people, I don't know, understand what I'm saying here. But in my opinion, one of the problems with the quality issues is the recall explosion. This is a picture of a keyed ignition. This is a keyed ignition switch from GM. So I was covering this back then, and when GM did this keyed ignition switch, they started recalling everything. Like there was recalls upon recalls for days and days and days, and they recalled like 2 trucks, 1 truck, 7 trucks, 5 trucks, and they recalled everything. Like a bolt wasn't tightened down to another quarter turn in the factory, recalled them all. And it really led to a lot of people questioning quality because all of a sudden you get these recalls in the mail like crazy. And so you take your truck in, constantly can do recalls, which is kind of a pain in the ass. And then we talked about, is Toyota's quality going downhill? If you look at carcomplaints.com, which I still use to this day, the 2012 Tundra was the worst for quality. And actually the 2007 was one of the worst ones they had as well for the most complaints. And that was the first year of the true full-size truck. That's what it had. The other one was the 9/10 truck, which basically we called it. And so lots of problems there. Premature transmission issues. The secondary air pump failure. That was a big deal. The secondary air pump failure, the charcoal canister as an issue as well. And so I actually decided to do something interesting. Looking at, and we also talked about in this article, excuse me, one more thing. Truck prices to blame. 2016, I'm talking about truck prices to blame. Are you kidding me? Yeah, looking at that in 2016. And then one of the first comments from Jack Weber back in August 19, 2016 says, he thinks escalating truck prices are at least partially to blame when you pay 40 to 50,000 for a product and it doesn't perform its intended function reliably. There's a certain amount of betrayal. Think about that. We're talking about a truck that costs 40 to 50,000, and we expected it to perform reliably back in 2016. That truck today is 60 to 70,000, maybe. And then you get the luxury trucks. We didn't even have those back then. So now you're spending the 80 to $100,000 today. And we were talking back then about 40,000, how we expected more from a $40,000 truck. Wow. Okay, known problems with a 5.7 liter V8. We talked the cam tower oil leaks. I remember covered that quite a bit. The secondary air and junction pump failures. That was a huge problem. Very common in older 5.7 liter V8 Tundras. I think it was right around the early second gen. So right around that'd have been the 2013, 2014, 2015 model years. That was a huge issue. And I don't believe there's recall on that. I think the owners were just kind of screwed. Water pump wear was more of a wear item. Exhaust manifold bolt crack issues, oil sludge, variable valve timing problems, valve train issues, timing chair tensioner. Remember the timing chain would get worn. Head gasket cylinder issues, starter motor location cost replacement. They said people were complaining about it's not very accessible, and some were failing 100,000, 150,000 mile range. And those trucks didn't have start stop back then either. Fuel consumption, we talked about that, wasn't very good. And connecting rod bearing, lower engine concern. So I found this article very interesting. Just looking back in time to say, in the comments were just like, yeah, certain expected things that weren't out. Yeah, and here QDR Tundra, he replies, thanks for highlighting the issues. Oh, and the website, the website's no longer up. No QDR Tundra website's no longer up. And he just was a very frustrating guy. He bought his Tundra based on the JD Power awarding dependability 7 times back in 2011. Stellar reviews by Consumer Reports. He did his research. He thought he had higher expectations. Now he's got all these repairs and all this stuff going on. So he's very frustrated by it. But yeah, think about that. Looking at an article almost 10 years ago, talking about $40,000 trucks, how we expect more from them, and how we had all these problems back in 2007 when the truck first came out, 2012 with the premature transmission issues. We had the issues of secondary air pump. I remember that being a big deal. Cam tower leaking, and then this guy having a lot of problems with this truck back then. So just a little trip down memory So just a quick trip down memory road. I'm really not making any point in this video beyond to say I just found it fascinating to take a little time and go back and look at things and look at, wow, isn't it interesting looking back on what happened back then? For more things that are interesting to me and maybe to you, check out the videos up over here. Left it down below as well. Pickuptrucktalk.com. As always, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.